but my top 5 influential players are MJ, AI, D Wade, Bron, and Steph. Just so that the video could still pick something up. Here I am.
Is that Cordell?
For Halloween, you shall see. We will leave that in the tippy top corner. I'm gonna leave the light on. Ari's gonna be sterile when she gets home. But God bless you in your first introduction to the pod. You've been spitting. You called Chris Paul the point god. We need you back. And I got out with the under one controversial, whatever we call it. God bless.
It was not one.
Yep, it was one. Check the odds.
You did get in the under. You did get the under. So
and Miguel, it comes full circle. You just ruined somebody else's parlay. So good
absolutely.
job.
Athletes.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Tonight for me.
He was under, but it was not one outburst.
Oh my goodness, it was.
Well, people, now y'all see how Miguel signs off in almost any way possible, and you never know what you're gonna get. But he did give his top 5 influential players list. I personally think he left one very key person off. If we're talking about,
I've only got one disagreement with him.
Yeah, I don't know if I heard one name that I was looking for.
Oh,
did I hear Kobe?
I definitely didn't hear Kobe.
Wait. I'm gonna say Kobe. Hold on, wait. So wait, who did I throw in there?
You had D Wade. D Wade will be replaced by Kobe in my list.
Yeah.
Kobe for sure. Wait, who else? I said MJ, AI, Bron,
Steph.
Yeah, I mean Steph's got to be in there. D Wade for me. God bless his soul. I was always a D Wade fan over Kobe, but Kobe's on that list. Let's be real. But I'm personally, I don't shoot off the backboard as much as I do if it weren't for D Wade. Love y'all.
I love that the conversation was happening as though we were like almost talking to his shoes. It was perfect camera placement.
I put up 40 in these.
It didn't happen if you didn't record it.
Officially, I'll do it. Don't worry.
He gonna have somebody record it tonight for sure.
We're gonna get highlights next pod.
Absolutely. But yeah, honestly, I think his list, I don't know if it would be considered the standard, but it would probably be mine. And I think a lot of people, I mean, if we're talking influence, I don't know if that is more so an era thing. And if people think that other players from prior to, like, I would imagine some people might say Magic is influential. If you're talking about what a point guard could look like. Some people may try to think of, it also depends on how technical you want to get. But I just think if we're talking influence, you have to do all things considered. And I think the 5 players that are named captured everything, and they all had a specific influence in like one area of the game, right? So like Steph is obviously shooting. I would say you could argue for Kobe, it's probably more mentality than anything. Like
mentality and work ethic. Like if you think about like the Redeem Team doc that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
You didn't really have guys going to the gym at 4 or 5 in the morning before they saw Kobe doing that.
Right.
And I mean, and just think about everyday life. You shoot a paper ball in a trash can, you yelling Kobe when you do it. Like it's kind of a no-brainer at that point. Honestly though, Magic Johnson was the like last person that I cut off. Like he would be number 6 on this list for me. Just because I think when you think about big, like bigger guards or like taller ball handlers, none of that would be possible without Magic Johnson kind of being the foundation for that. But I think when you think about, like, again, you mentioned Steph, we literally changed the way we play and consume basketball because of how Steph plays.
Yeah.
If you look at fast breaks now, guys can be on 3-on-1 and the 2 guys on the wing are going to the corners to shoot as opposed to cutting to the basket now. And that's a direct reflection of Steph. AI made it cool to have swag on a basketball court. Nobody was rocking sleeves. Nobody had tattoos. Nobody was rocking braids before Allen Iverson. I mean, what didn't Michael Jordan influence? Like he made it a thing to not only be a brand as a basketball player, but then to continue that brand off the court after your career. And then, LeBron, it's kind of the same thing. It's the influence of how he takes care of his body. Guys are spending millions of dollars on their body in the offseason because LeBron did it first. And, whether he would like to take credit for it or not, a lot of the whole player movement and like that type of thing is a direct reflection of LeBron. Like, I try not to say player empowerment era because I don't think players have been empowered like LeBron. Like if you really think about it, there are very few guys ever, let alone in this current era, that you are just completely flipping your franchise over for. LeBron is probably the only guy in the league right now, maybe KD if you want to look at what happened in Brooklyn, but LeBron's the only guy that you are just literally saying, okay, here are the keys to my organization. You take it. Yeah. And if we're talking about player empowerment, you would have a little bit more of that for everybody as opposed to just him. So player movement, though, I think he made it okay for stars to want to go to other destinations. Whether you like it as a fan or not is a totally different discussion. But I think LeBron was the first guy that you could look at and say, he is not a player that I'm rooting for because of the jersey he wears. It's because of him as the player, and I'm going and traveling with him wherever he goes.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I don't have any disagreements. I mean, Magic. The only thing I would add is like I think Magic is an evolution of Oscar Robertson, and then LeBron is virtually an evolution of Magic, in my opinion.
Yeah. I actually agree with that because you are essentially with LeBron adding a scoring element to the Magic Johnson kind of archetype. So,
for sure.
I definitely think that's a solid list. The D Wade thing, Miguel mentioned that. Of course, I wouldn't have had him in the 5, but I do think D Wade is an interesting conversation because
China.
There is an athletic guard type of influence that he had that you didn't necessarily see at that time because for the most part, for a guy that was D Wade's size, you primarily played point guard.
Right.
You weren't really a scoring guard at the time. And he kind of made that a little bit of, I guess influence change or whatever when he played. But it's also hard to just say D Wade influence because you got to have the athleticism that D Wade had. There's not too many guys that can say they got that.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say D Wade was one of the first, I think, athletic defensive guards, and that's no disrespect to like the Gary Paytons and those type of guards, but in terms of a big guard who not only was guarding on ball but was guarding at the rim, I think he was one of the first guards that we saw with that type of defensive versatility. So I think if there were any honorable mentions, I think Magic and D Wade in terms of that conversation make a lot of sense. But I think that 5, as it pertains to influence, is untouchable as of right now. I don't know if there's anybody to change that outside of Wemby maybe being next from the standpoint of, I mean, I don't think we're going to see another Wemby, but from the standpoint of what influence might become, I think we could potentially see Wemby's influence sooner rather than later from the standpoint on the sport and the culture of basketball as well even. So but I think that list is relatively untouchable.